girls, happy Wednesday. Hopefully you all are ready to get after it today. Should have had a nice lighter recovery day yesterday. Should be feeling pretty good today. So jumping right into today's workout, the first thing we need to address is when we bring our knee up to our chest like this on your back, we should get this stretch through your butt muscle. Shouldn't get a pinch in the front of your hip. If you get a pinch in the front of your hip, there's a lot of different reasons for this. I post this screening video in the link below. So if you need to access it, click on the video in your program or click on the link below. And I go through several reasons why you might not get this stretch in your butt, but rather the pinch in the front of your hip. Why this is important to clean up is because we know that if we have a hip mobility limitation, when we go to strengthen, it's going to limit our glute strengthening, and that's going to limit our power on the field, because a lot of our power on the field comes from our posterior chain, our glute muscle, our backside power. So we need to make sure that we have easy access to strengthen these glute muscles. So follow along with that video and make sure that your hip motions are cleaned up. If you do have a hip restriction, this is a great stretch to kind of work into gaining a little bit more motion. We all know that there's more than just muscle length that limit our mobility, but we can have soft tissue restrictions, we can have joint restrictions. This exercise here is addressing that joint restriction. So what you're doing is you're having that band pull you backwards and intensify that stretch through your butt muscle. So if you have the equipment to go ahead and set up a band to get that stretch, that additional stretch through your butt muscle set it up. If you don't, do it without the band. But know and understand that there's other things than just muscle length that limit your mobility that you might have to address. So don't stretch and stretch and stretch and stretch and never make any gains. If you stretch and you're not gaining mobility, that's an indication that stretching isn't addressing what the problem is. So keep that in mind. One thing that we're addressing and talking about in our program is soft tissue, common soft tissue that gets sore and tight in softball players, and one of them is your infraspinatus. Your infraspinatus is just one of your rotator cuff muscles, and especially as we head into the season, a lot of us are going to notice that this muscle is getting really sore. Really important to take some time making sure that you loosen that up with a little bit of soft tissue. This is a great soft tissue exercise where you're going to pin it back behind you and then use the bat to kind of move through that tissue. It's not comfortable, but again, this is a great go-to exercise to continue to go back to during the course of the season to make sure that the tissue in your cuff doesn't start to bind up and affect the way you throw. Next exercise that you're going to do is a skier. So you're going to bring your feet up to your hands. This is a great exercise for getting your heart rate up and working a little bit more on that hip mobility. Then we have a band external rotation with some side steps. The dog kind of interfered with the video there, but you get the idea. So we're going to step out 3 times and then do some rotation. So getting some glute activation in with our band external rotation. Then we have a stomach serrates press. If you have a milk jug, you can use a milk jug. You don't need very much weight for this. This produces a tremendous amount of tension through your core, and it's great scapular strengthening exercise. Really hard. This looks like a big weight. It's 5 pounds. So the next exercise that you're going to do is a split squat with a cross body diagonal. Let me check here. So you have 10 reps of this split squat with crossbody diagonal. If you don't have a med ball, use a milk jug. You can use a dumbbell. You might be able to set up, if you tie a band, you can use resistance from your band. But all we're doing is working on that diagonal pattern. Then we're going to get into these iso holds that I was talking about at the beginning of the talk here now. So we're going to do an air squat. But in each of these next 3 exercises, in the middle of the exercise, you're going to hold for 10 seconds. So grab a timer, grab whatever you need, but you're going to hold it for 10 seconds and you're going to not let yourself let go. So each of these reps, again, you're going to hold it for 10 seconds and you got 10 reps of that. Take a break and you have 5 sets. So again, this is what an air squat looks like. Should be able to do a squat and get your butt all the way to your heels. If you can't, that's a good indication that we have a mobility restriction someplace in your chain that needs to be addressed, because that's going to limit your power on the field. The next thing you're going to do is a single leg squat. Again, holding 10 seconds in the middle of the squat. and then completing the exercise. And the third one we have is a crossover step up, again holding 10 seconds on your way up in this exercise. So again, you should be pretty fatigued at the end of the workout for today. Your legs are going to get in a pretty good workout, and we're going to work endurance into your muscles just a little bit. So anyways, happy workout. If you have questions about anything, don't hesitate to contact me. Otherwise, enjoy your Wednesday.